I'm one of those people who never believed in the supernatural, ghosts, witches, goblins, or anything like that. I'm also not one of those people who go to church a lot, but I do believe there's a God, and if God exists, then the devil exists too. So therefore, ghosts, spirits, witches, all of that exists. And honestly, I respect them. My story happened when I was part of the Mexican army. They sent us on operations to eradicate poppy and marijuana. 3 platoons went out in a truck, and the one in command was a lieutenant. The transport dropped us off as far as it could because the road to the mountains was really narrow. In a helicopter, the Army isn't going to lend you one. The Army would rather have you walk. That's how the cartels do it. They choose places where not even the damn air gets in, so it's harder to find them. And the more complicated the terrain, the better it is for them. We walked for hours. Scorching heat, the kind where even the shade doesn't help. The one leading was a corporal with his squad. They were clearing the way. The rest of us followed behind, more relaxed, talking or carrying backpacks. I had just enlisted, so I was still pretty green and didn't talk much. But the corporal I got was a good guy. He explained to me how to move, how to keep pace, how to build a fire. At about 3 or 4 p.m., we reached a river, and the lieutenant ordered us to camp nearby. He said from then on we would go to the fields and sleep there for as long as the operation lasted. So we set up camp, checked the perimeter, and organized ourselves into squads. The next morning we started the patrols. Our task was to eradicate, to pull out each plant one by one, make bundles, and stack them. Others gathered firewood, and once you had everything, it was time to burn it. You had to be careful or things would get out of control. Place the plants on the bottom and dried logs on top to control the fire. If you did it the other way, flames would rise and bundles would fly. And then goodbye forest, goodbye mountains. When it finished burning, you had to cover it with dirt or even pee on it to ensure no sparks remained. A tiny spark, and you could have a fire in seconds. That's how we spent several days. And since the river was nearby, we'd go in there to bathe after each day's work. It helped us cool off and relieve stress, and also to have some fun with the guys. Among everyone, there was a soldier who behaved oddly, always rushing, on the phone, and speaking rudely. He would yell so much that even the damn cows grazing nearby would turn to see who he was yelling at. We used to laugh, but the guy had a real problem. He said his best friend was messing around with his girlfriend and all he wanted was to go back to the battalion to beat the hell out of him. One day, almost at the end of the mission, they sent us to the second to last field, and that's where it all started. When we got to the hills, we saw an old stone house with no windows, neither glass nor wood, just a door and a thatched roof. But what really freaked us out was what was painted there. Pentagrams, strange stars, and an altar with black candles in the back. Lieutenant gathered us and said, "No one gets close to that house. Make the fire far away and be very careful today." With that serious voice he uses only when he knows something is wrong. We began burning slowly to be cautious, but the soldier from the call was anxious and desperate. He said we'd have to stay another day and wanted to leave as soon as possible. He clearly had a lot of pent-up anger. Suddenly, the guy grabbed a log and tossed it into the fire, which flared up instantly. The corporal shouted, "Take it out, man!" And the guy, pissed off, pulled it so hard that he sent sparks flying everywhere. The burning bundles went flying, and one landed right on the thatched roof of the house. And well, in seconds it caught fire. The fire started slowly, but then it spread. The roof collapsed, and we all just watched as it burned. There was no way to put it out. The corporal ran to report it to the sergeant, and the sergeant to the lieutenant, and we stayed there scolding the soldier. He was shouting that it was all the damn rhythm's fault, that we were never going to want to finish everything because of that house, and that for sure we were going to stay another day. He even said he wanted to drop out just to go back. We didn't know whether to laugh or be worried because honestly, we were going really slow with that field. All for safety and to keep the fire under control. If we finish the second to last one that day, can we do the last one and return the next day? But at the pace we were going, it was obvious we were going to stay another day. The lieutenant arrived and harshly scolded him, telling him to respect others' property and that he didn't realize what he'd done. He told us to cover everything with dirt so nothing remained. "Watch him all night if you want, but I don't want to see a single spark," said the sergeant. We stayed watching the fire, and there we were with our hands throwing dirt on it like dogs, making sure nothing was left alive. We threw dirt and even urine on it, just to be safe. On the way back to camp, we were tired. Sometimes a few stay behind and nothing happens. That day, I was in the group at the back with 2 others, and we saw the soldier known as Parado, standing still, looking toward the mountains. We thought he was resting. No one said anything because it's not like we wanted to talk to him after what he did. We got to the camp and everyone went about their routine, showering, eating, cleaning their weapon, sleeping. But that soldier never showed up. An hour passed, then 2, and nothing. The lieutenant asked about him and sent the sergeant and the corporal to look for him. They took 3 more soldiers and the medic. They called him on the phone, but he didn't answer. Later at night, you could see the lamps in the mountains, the whistles, the shouts, but nothing. The guards had orders to report if they saw him arrive. I went to bed, but didn't last long before feeling a strong, strange chill. I felt like I couldn't move. I was drenched in sweat, and I heard footsteps and whispers like someone was walking between the houses in the camp. The others were complaining too. One shouted that he couldn't move. Another said someone was walking outside, and the guards just weren't responding. We got up, still half asleep, and saw it. The soldier stood in the middle of the camp, fully uniformed with his rifle over his shoulder, head tilted, back to us, whispering things we couldn't understand. The sergeant shouted for someone to look for the guards. The medic ran toward him, grabbed him by the shoulder, and turned him around, and when he did, the soldier's eyes were completely white, rolled all the way back, and he fainted. And the guards, when they found them, were also lying on the ground, unconscious. They slapped them awake and put alcohol under their noses, all trembling. Someone started praying, another saying, "God is here," and several said a cleansing ritual was needed. No one slept that night. Everyone wanted to return. And the soldier had a look on his face, an empty stare, as if he didn't want to go on living anymore. The next day we got up early, eradicated the last field, and returned to the battalion. They gave us 5 days off and everything seemed over, but soon after, the soldier began messaging the group. He said strange things happened at his house. Objects moved by themselves, stones were thrown at him. He heard voices and he sent photos and videos. The soldier messaged that strange things were happening at his house